I'm back, and today it's all about the weekend brunch. All right, welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today I thought I would do a recipe video, something that you can enjoy if you are following Dr. Goldner's Goodbye Autoimmune protocol. Now, I do want to have full transparency here. These are all Goodbye Autoimmune protocol ingredients approved by Dr. Goldner. So you're not going to be able to count some of the things towards your daily allotment, but you can consume all these things without having any inflammatory response, according to her. So, as you can see, it is a brunch title, and today I thought we would make eggs Benedict. I used to love eggs Benedict. It was one of my favorite dishes, and to me, it speaks to the ultimate brunch food. So we are going to start with yesterday's footage of me prepping all the things so that we could enjoy this meal today. Here we go.
Okay, we are going to start with our English muffins so that we can get them in the dehydrator. First, we're going to start with 2 medium carrots. We're going to wet chop these in our blender so we can have an easier cleanup. All you do is throw them in your blender with a little water till they float, pulse them to get the size that you'd like, drain them very well to get all the water out. Next will be an onion. I'm using a yellow onion because it is sweeter. With all the other components in this dish being so salty and acidic, the sweetness will help to counteract and balance out the dish. Popping those into the blender. Same thing, we would like these to be pretty small in size because they will dehydrate quicker that way. Make sure with the onion you drain them extra well because onion tends to hold more water. So I'm really just pushing the water out here. Same thing, similar small size. Now I'm combining the carrots with the onion. And then we're going to be adding some nutritional yeast. And nutritional yeast will kind of act like a flour. It will help to bind the carrots and the onions together. So adding that along with the flax seed. Flax seed is also a binder. I'm going to grind these up in my coffee grinder. And if you have coffee drinkers in your house like I do, make sure that it's cleaned out first. Otherwise, it's no bueno, guys. Grind them very fine, toss them in, mix it up really well. Then we're going to add some psyllium husk powder. This helps to absorb water, but also gives the mixture a more bread-like consistency. So we want these to be muffins and not crackers. Give that a good stir. And then grab your dehydrator sheet to make your muffins. So I'm just patting these out. I tend to make them bigger in size because they will shrink in the dehydrator. So probably about a 1/2 inch thick here is what I'm aiming for. And then I'm going to grab a glass container just so that I can make them all equal in size but also thickness. I'm going for crispy edge here with a soft middle, so this kind of ensures that the edges are all the same size. Just kind of scrape around the excess, and I have enough for one small little baby muffin. There they are. Okay, now I'm going to start the mushrooms. The mushrooms are going to give it kind of that meaty sort of texture to replace the bacon, the Canadian bacon that is in normal eggs Benedict. So chopping up the mushrooms, not too big, not too small, and then adding some seasonings. The recipe will be in the description box, so no need to write or worry about that. Next is tomato. This will give it some nice color and freshness along with sweetness. Adding some seasonings, basically a combination of Bragg's, flax oil, and some other spices. Mixing this all up. Throwing it over the top. It's pretty thick, so it's kind of pasty. So just do your best. So taking those two, covering them, and then I'm going to put them in the fridge to marinate overnight. All right, finally the cauliflower. We are going to be using this in our hollandaise sauce. So I just taking the cauliflower, crumbling it up, adding some spices, lemon juice, nutritional yeast again. If you can't tell, I'm a huge fan. Some flax oil and garlic salt. The garlic salt is for the win. Now you could add all this later, but I am doing it because I feel like dehydrating the cauliflower kind of softens it and kind of gives it a less raw taste. So we're just gonna pop that on a liner and throw that in with the mushrooms and the tomatoes.
All right, now that we got all of the prep work out of the way, we can do the final touches of the recipe. Okay, I'm so excited for this, you guys. Today is Saturday for me, and I really wanted to get this video out to you today, but I don't think it's gonna happen just because I wasn't prepared in knowing how much I was gonna have to do with writing out recipes and stuff like that. So this whole recipe will be in my description box below, so you don't need to write it all down, okay? I'll write it down for you. I'll do the hard work. So the first thing that we are gonna do is we are gonna make our eggs today. What we're gonna use is one big avocado, and this was sitting in my refrigerator. I told you, I've never been burned. And we are going to deseed it. We are gonna prep it in our bowl here. Just kind of squeeze it because I'm gonna have to mash it up anyways. I did wash my hands if anybody was curious. Then we are going to mix in, I have a half a teaspoon of black salt. We're just gonna toss that in there. I just need to get a spoon and a towel for my hands. I can't get over this spoon. It's so dang cute. Okay, so it is smelling really eggy in here, all right? This is gonna be one serving size and portion amount. And you can always double the recipe if you're including someone in the meal. My husband, Jordan, requested pancakes. So I'm going to make him pancakes and I'm going to eat this. But he is kind of curious. He's like, I want a bite, at least a bite of it. Okay, so we're gonna set this aside. And then next we're going to build our spinach. So I wanted to have a good amount of greens in this recipe because even though this is kind of something that's a weekend delight, we wanna make sure that we're still nourishing, right? Why not? We have the opportunity to throw in greens on anything, we should do it. So I'm going to add in a juice of a lemon. I think I'm just gonna do half. And then I'm gonna add in a tablespoon of flax oil. This actually would count because it's gonna go in the fridge after I wilt it, just so that I can make sure it stays cold. And I just took it out of the fridge. So we're just gonna wilt our spinach down with our hands. You eat all this spinach, and I'm sure that I will. Oxalates be darned. I'm going to be able to count the whole tablespoon towards my daily allotment. Okay, so it's like a third if I'm doing all oil, flax oil. All right, so you can kind of see what that looks like. And just by the heat of your hand, it's crazy how you can wilt things down. You don't need to cook this stuff, guys, okay? All right, I'll set that aside, toss that. So quickly, I apologize for my bad bronzer on the footage yesterday. I got this new bronzer and it doesn't look very good on camera, so I won't be wearing that. If any of you have a cruelty-free, clean bronzer that you love, put it in the comment section below. I'm happy to take recommendations on that. That would be great. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in the fridge and we'll keep that nice and cold then. So next, we are gonna make the hollandaise sauce. I put a lot of thought into this. A lot of the vegan hollandaise sauces I saw out there were loaded with cashews or hemp seeds or something like that. So I feel like the one thing that's very neutral that is a vegetable is cauliflower. And you guys obviously in the last footage saw me making some cauliflower that I did dehydrate, but I'm also gonna add, to bulk it up, the rest of the head of that cauliflower. And after I pulled it out of the dehydrator, this was all that was left. So we're gonna use the rest of this cauliflower because I do have a Vitamix. And if anybody uses a Vitamix, if you don't have enough ingredients in it, it tends to bog it down and then it doesn't make it as creamy as it should. So I'll throw in the raw cauliflower first, and then we're going to put in the rest of the marinated stuff. I tasted this. This is so good. Not even lying, it's delicious. And then we're gonna throw in another half a teaspoon of the black salt, because most of you know eggs typically go in a regular hollandaise sauce. And then to make it yellow, we are gonna add in some yellow mustard and a little bit of turmeric. So we're just gonna add that in. Just enough to give it that hollandaise-y look. Now, if you are doing the hyper nourish, you could totally add some cashews in here and this would be really, really, really good. And then we are gonna add in the other half of this lemon. Lemon is in regular hollandaise sauce, so we're gonna put it in here as well. And then I'm gonna put in, I have a cup measured out of water here, but I think I'm gonna start with a half a cup. And then we're gonna add more if needed. So let me blend this up here. Okay, I don't think we're gonna need the other half a cup of that. As you can see, it's pretty thick stuff, but hollandaise sauce is pretty thick, so we don't want it to be super thin, right? Fresh spoon, let's see how it's doing. I think we need some more nutritional yeast. So I did marinate that cauliflower in some nutritional yeast, but it still needs a little bit more. I think because I added the raw cauliflower, it needs a little something else. So let's add another teaspoon of nutritional yeast. That is much better. I am now gonna turn this on and I'm gonna drizzle in flax oil into this. Now again, once you heat up flax, you can't count it. So this oil will not count towards your daily allotment. Okay guys, I ran out of spoons. So we're gonna use a fork to taste it. That's much better. I think the oil, I think it was just missing a little fat. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of winging this recipe. I wrote everything down so that I could share it, but I'm kind of a winger when it comes to creating recipes. I thought maybe with this channel, all of the new people that are following Dr. Goldner, that I would make a weekly recipe designated to the Goodbye Autoimmune protocol. So if you like that idea, comment down below, just so that I can see if that's something you guys are interested in. It would be raw, it would be vegan, it would be hyper nourishing, and it would be Goodbye LUPUS/autoimmune. I think it would be a well-received video for all of my subscribers, I assume. But yeah, let me know for sure. What do you guys think about that? Okay, now now, understand how much I've been looking forward to this moment because I get to put together the final recipe and eat it. Okay, let me clean up this mess and I'll be right back. Okay, now for the best part. So I have my English muffins. As you can see, it made 4 large ones and 1 little one. And I took the little one and I already tasted it to make sure that I liked it. It was so good. And these really are like legit English muffins. They're crunchy around the edges, but they're really soft on the inside. I think you guys are really gonna enjoy this recipe. I also make crackers using the exact same ingredients. I just spread them out thinner and I let them go for longer. I'm gonna start with my mushroom. You can see everything shrinks in the dehydrator. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna start with the spinach. So we're gonna lay down a little bit of spinach. Then I'm gonna take my tomato bacon, air quotes again, and lay that down. So it's a nice flat surface to put our mushrooms on. So I'm gonna put a few mushrooms on here. This actually, I think this would make a lot more than 1 serving because I definitely have enough for 2 more. I'm gonna put our egg on there and then we have our hollandaise. So I'm just gonna drizzle this over the top here, guys, as best I can. It's a little thick. I really thought this was gonna look pretty, but I don't think there's gonna be any Instagram-worthy pictures in this one. Lots of hollandaise sauce left. So you could use that though. I think that would stay in the refrigerator for the whole week. Then I'm gonna take a few sprouts to make it pretty before I show you guys what it looks like. So okay, let's give you the money shot. So there it is. I think it looks pretty legit for being raw vegan and on the Goodbye Autoimmune protocol. So here's what we've all been waiting for, especially me. Oh, I forgot. So I saved some of my green juice this morning so I could have this to be more legit brunch. It's about 3 o'clock here. I'm really hungry because I haven't eaten much today. I'm gonna really have to make up for all the stuff that I miss out on. And I'll probably just have a smoothie tonight because I'll be able to get on all my things that way. But here we go. This is so good. I cannot believe how good it is. I'm like surprising myself here. This hits all the spots. It's got the savory, it's got the fat, and it's got the freshness that you get from the fresh vegetables. If you dehydrate your tomatoes, it will pull out some of the sweetness because it's the end of March, right? So the tomatoes are not great this time of year usually here in Illinois, but when you marinate them and you dehydrate them, the sweetness comes out of them. So you guys have to give this a try, okay? No doubt if you're following Goodbye Autoimmune, this may not be something you wanna do every weekend, but maybe in the middle of the 6 weeks, because this is a 6-week hardcore program, and see how it makes you feel. And maybe you could get away with it doing it a couple of times throughout the 6 weeks. I think Dr. Goldner would approve of this meal. I think she would be thrilled that we were able to make something that tastes yummy and also doesn't cause inflammation in the body and that keeps you on track. So I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm gonna eat all of this and then maybe have another one. All right, bye.